Hello, Miami. This is Dual 5 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will. I just want to be transparent with everybody out there who's listening to me right now. I am incredibly nasally. I'm catching a cold, but I really want to bring you this episode because I really want to talk about what's been being spoken about, especially ever since the flip by Justin Scott from Ohio State over to the Miami Hurricanes, and that is that there seems to be some movement now with the same thing with Jeremiah Smith. Now, I will say this though, I did say on this show that I did not think that Jeremiah was going to flip. I thought he was an Ohio State lock. That is no different than Brandon Inniss last year. That Miami did pursue him to the bitter end, but nonetheless, Brandon Inniss still chose, to go to OSU. I've started to change my mind a little bit, basically because I'm starting to notice patterns with Jeremiah Smith that may indicate that he is not very happy or not very rock solid anymore with his commitment to OSU. And just a few things I want to go over, and that is the Justin Scott flip. No one saw the Justin Scott flip coming anytime soon. Now, this is flip season because now we've entered the early stages of December. This is where you start to see some players that may have been committed to a school, flip and go to another school. But it's really it was really surprising to see Justin Scott actually flip, especially since many of us felt that he wanted to stay close to the home, and that was, being somewhere, in the Midwest. But he flips, he's a Cade, and that seems to be causing some stir, as now people feel that Jeremiah Smith might not be as happy with his Ohio State commitment as was reasonably thought. That doesn't mean he could flip to Miami. Florida State has been in the picture, also trying to get him, and also the fact that they just won an ACC championship. You can't dismiss that either. And Florida State and Mike Norvell is a very good recruiter. But I will be making the case for the Miami Hurricanes right now in the next couple of minutes because I really want to emphasize why I think the Canes are much better shape than what I think some of the pundits are giving them credit for. And let me explain why. But before I get into that, I want to go over Jeremiah Smith this season. He has been balling out for Shabana Madonna. Okay, I mean balling out. 77 receptions, 1,206 yards. This is for Max Preps. I don't know how accurate this could be, but this is what I'm giving you based upon what I've seen on Max Preps. 1,206 yards, receiving yards, 15.7 yards average per catch, and 18 touchdowns this season. Having a great year once again for Shabana Madonna, alongside with his partner JoJo Trader and his quarterback Cedric Bailey. Now, Cedric Bailey was just offered by the Canes. Okay, he has been an NC State Wolfpack commit for a while. The Canes jump in. Many have argued whether it's a sincere offer or if it's just a ploy to get, Jeremiah Smith. Whatever the case would be, the Canes do need a quarterback. And if they think that getting someone like Cedric Bailey in, on campus and making him a Miami Hurricane is another good way to pair him up with Jeremiah Smith, I don't see much of an issue with that because the bottom line is that you want to win and you want to be successful and you want to get your team into championship caliber. Cedric Bailey is a good quarterback. He's got a great arm. He's incredibly accurate. He's also very athletic as well, but he's more of a passer than he wants to be a runner. But nonetheless, the reason why he's not as highly ranked as, let's say, other quarterbacks is mainly because of his size, okay? He weighs about 185 pounds. I don't have his height with me, but I believe he's about 6'4", 6'5", right? So he's pretty thin, all right? So he's pretty thin, and that's why he's a 3-star, not a 4-star. But the bottom line is that he's still a very good quarterback. He knows JoJo very well, and he also knows Jeremiah Smith very well. The reason why I'm also thinking it could be a Cade flip as well, not so much an FSU one, is based upon the fact that he does have JoJo, who's committed to Miami and seems to be a rock solid commit. Cedric Bailey, if he jumps over to the U, that's another one. And then, of course, you have Zaquan Patterson, who's his buddy on the defensive side of the ball, for Shabana Madonna, also committed to the University of Miami as well. So that's pretty much where I think why Jeremiah Smith could become a Miami Hurricane over basically a Florida State Seminole as well. Even though Florida State, will be graduating a lot of players this year who will be going to the next level. But I do think that Miami is in good shape to land Jeremiah Smith because he is much more here. It's more of a local kid as well. Before I also want to get into some details, I want to give a special shout out to NMD Grant from No More Defeats. NMD Grant did a fantastic job today on his video in which he broke down, yesterday, in which he broke down, where there seems to be, he called it the domino effect of the Justin Scott flip and how that could affect, Jeremiah's recruitment as well, and possibly where the Canes may stand with him. Okay. Now, one of the few things that he talked about is the message boards that have been stated by a lot of the Ohio State fan base and how angry they are at the fact that Justin Scott flipped, and also where they see Jeremiah Smith also in the picture as well. And one of the things that they've talked about is, first things foremost, they said that if Jeremiah stays in Miami, it's because he's broke. Okay, that came from an actual podcast that has 247 written on, one of the guests had 247 written, as part of his logo. That looks incredibly bad. All right. So that's one of the things that I saw, and he retweeted out. Okay. Jeremiah Smith retweeted out. But before I talk about more social media stuff, Jeremiah Smith also does not have any connection to Ohio State on his social media, not on his Twitter, except for a couple things, some later stuff, but definitely not on his Instagram. Okay, he's completely removed Ohio State from his Instagram, as well as Ohio State is not even there. Like, you'll see, like, for example, Chance Robinson, Canes commit. You'll see, like, basically these high schoolers still representing the school that they're committed to, in some capacity on their social media, and especially their Instagram. But nonetheless, in this case, Jeremiah Smith is not displaying anything of Ohio State. All right. But one of the things I do want to read, I want to read you a little bit. You're going to see the graphic up here as well, but I have the graphic for you so you can read it yourselves. This is just some of the stuff that the Ohio State fans wrote about Justin Scott decommitting and going over to the Canes. And this is from I'm not gonna say his name on the air, but he basically said, okay, it's ultra expensive, too many dirty Cubans and what not to, just a tacky place, give me the Gulf Coast of Florida all day. Very classy, coming from an Ohio State fan. Then you have this one that says the education system in Chicago is quite poor. All right. Then you have over here where it says fickle children with greedy families. Nice. Okay. And then, of course, you have gifts, gratuities, women, money. Don't kid yourself. If they don't want to be a Buckeye, good riddance. Okay. So that's pretty much what was said by some of the people in the Ohio State message boards, many more, and a reflection to the flip, from Justin Scott from Ohio State over to the U. And one thing I also want to tell and say to some of the fan base on our end is that these kids do read these things, and so do the parents. All right. And it says a lot about a fan base. Another thing about Ohio State is that they also are calling for the head of Ryan Day. Many fans think that Ryan Day's not the guy. Can't beat Michigan. Mind you, Ohio State's been in the college football playoff picture for a very long time. So a lot of us Canes fans would like to be in the same position that Ohio State's in the sense that they're always competing for a national championship, and they want to get rid of Ryan Day. Okay. A lot of fans do want to get rid of Ryan Day. They want a coach that can finish a job against Michigan, even though Ryan Day brings in very good recruits every year, and they've done pretty good with player development that has led to these guys going to the NFL. Not good enough for a lot of these OSU fans, okay, that still have their Urban Meyer hangover from when they won a national championship. So bottom line is, a lot of parents do read this, and a lot of the kids do read this as well, and it could affect recruitment. Now, I don't think it affects it all that much, because when you're an athlete, especially when you're a high profile athlete, and you're going to a major university like OSU or Miami that have tradition to their names, you're gonna get some heat. I mean, you have to have thick skin, okay? Because if not, in college and the pros as well, especially when you're making a lot of money in the pros. Nowadays, kids make a lot of money through NIL. Make a lot of money in the pros, you're gonna get hit a lot, especially if you underperform. Okay, so that's one of the things that some of these kids have to understand, or young men have to understand, is that they're gonna deal with people like this, wherever they are, whether they're at the college level or the pros. But the bottom line is, though, in the end, they're still teenagers, and we have to respect the decision that they make, regardless if we like it or not, regardless if it hurts our fandom or not. But the bottom line is, though, this is not a good look. Miami fans have been hit a lot as being, a bit rough, on social media. But if I'm not mistaken, Ohio fans are ranked number one, depending on what poll you look at, as far as the most harshest fan bases in the country. I think it was like Ohio State, Michigan. There might be the Florida Gators, and then fourth is Miami Hurricanes. I don't have the numbers with me, but I think I saw that once. And this just proves that Ohio State fans are pretty rough. And I mean, to say that a kid is flipping because of monetary reasons is absolutely insane from men who are older than me, it looks like in that video, all right, as well. So bottom line is though, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not saying that he will flip and become a K because we don't know again what these kids are thinking, but I do think the Canes are in very good shape if there is a flip to land Jeremiah Smith. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with me. Again, not feeling too hot, but I wanted to bring these episodes. I wanted to talk about this as well. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 5 Sports Now. Once again, I will stay safe. God bless. See you soon. Go Canes, guys. Bye-bye.